what is this 3 out of 10 rule? Because there are 10 categories, items that are listed on the USCIS website, the regulation of, one must qualify for the 3 out of 10 criteria.
Sure.
So, can
Sure.
you walk us through the process? I think this is where I think a relevant question, somebody has a 15 years of experience. So I think there is a lot of confusion between, people have asked me, I have a PhD, do I get an EB-1? Or I have 25 years of experience in a managerial level, do I get an EB-1A? So can you please elaborate and give us more enlightenment, for me and for the people watching?
Yeah, yeah. So for me, the process starts even before we talk about the criteria, right? So typically when a client reaches out to me, what I tell them is send me your resume, right? And send me an updated resume. That way, at the very least, at first glance, I can say, hey, it's not worth getting on an assessment call or a consultation call right now because I don't think you satisfy the criteria. And here's my feedback for you to do so. If I see that, okay, they're going to hit at least three, maybe four of the 10 criteria, then I say, let's get on a consultation call. Let's talk through it. Let's talk through the process. Let's talk through the criteria. Let's talk through your resume, your work experience, the projects you've worked on. And also, let's talk about who's going to talk about those projects on your behalf, right? Because the recommendation letters are extremely important. Sometimes you have clients that have really burned their bridges over the years, and you're doing yourself a disservice by doing that, right? Because you sometimes may need to go back to someone that you worked with 5, 10 years ago to write about you for a project that you had a significant impact. You may be with another company now, so you have no access to those internal systems, those internal records, that will help inform and really, substantiate your claim that you worked on this project. So you need to then identify one or two individuals that can speak on your behalf. So we walk through all of that during that initial assessment, initial call. From there, what I do is I send my clients back with some homework. I say, hey, these are the criteria you've hit, and we'll get into the criteria, but think about the projects you've worked on. Why were they critical? What kind of leadership role did you have in them? What kind of ROI did you have in them? What kind of dollar amount impact to your company, to the industry did you have with them? Um, who are the 1 to 2 individuals that are going to speak on your behalf with regards to these projects, right? So that can be another 1 month exercise where they really need to sit down, elaborate, and think about all of the projects that they've worked on. And you probably want to pick your top 4 to 5 most impactful ones, okay? And then, they come back to me, they send me a 10-page document, and then we hop on another call and we iterate on that document. We talk about, all right, what are the qualifications of these recommenders that you've identified for this project? Can you provide me any architecture diagrams if you're a software professional or engineering professional? What sort of evidence do you have on hand to substantiate your claim that you've actually done this? From there, we finally get to the retainer agreement, right? That's where my clients are, bought in and they feel like, hey, we can move forward with this process. We feel confident, we feel comfortable that, we can potentially get an approval here, right? We don't guarantee an approval, but at the same time, that's why that process is so important, so that if you do need to go back to the drawing board, I will send you back to the drawing board. I'm not going to take a case where I feel, you've maybe got two here and we can make a stretch argument for number three. That's not a good experience for anyone involved. Okay. So once that has happened and you've identified the projects, you've identified the recommenders, we embark on an 8 to 12 week process where I then draft the recommendation letters for you. We want to make this process as easy as possible for the recommenders. We don't want them to have to write too much. They're not going to know all the buzzwords or the nuances. There's very specific language that I like to use in these recommendations. And over the course of those 8 to 12 weeks, as we draft the recommendation letters, we get them signed, we complete the EB-1A analysis, right? Based on your profile, based on your resume, your certifications, where you studied,